Hi, kids. Hey, kids. So you were told repeatedly over years that you're trash, that you're worthless. I am so sorry that you grew up in a household that was chaotic. You don't deserve to feel bad all the time. Here are 3 ways to know when your help is slighted. Here are 3 reasons that you are a good person. Here are 3 ways you can enjoy your childhood trauma. I'm going to talk to the kids. Your parents made mistakes. You can't blame the parents. Of course they can. I'm just concerned about the children. Your parents screwed up. If you do not have a family that loves you, I'm going to be your family. You are safe. I really do love you. I'm not playing a character here. I see the real you. I know you. People always say, Jeffrey, it feels like you're talking right to me. And that's why I made a Patreon, so that we could talk about it, so that we could connect in a way that has privacy. And if you want to hear from me on a personal level, just let me know. And I didn't know these private videos would be some of the most fulfilling work that I do. There's no such thing as a boy-girl.
First of all, my problem is about that individual which I just showed you, Mr. Jeffrey Marsh, or we don't know what we should call him, because the thing is, he doesn't identify as a man or a woman, so you can't give his pronouns. And you have to, obviously, you have to respect what he thinks. But my problem is, when he is addressing kids, well, if you want to be identified as a man or a woman or whatever you want, that's up to you. That's totally fine. But you cannot approach kids and you cannot speak to the kids, especially when you are using a public platform. Would you like to say?
I'd like to say, firstly, he shouldn't be doing it, being a man or a woman, attracting other people's children to come and speak to him openly about anything. As far as I'm concerned, that's a form of...
Well, the thing is, a lot of people are coming up to in his support and they're saying that he's not a bad person, he's an inspiration, since he have come out as a non-binary individual. And he is one of the best things that have happened to this world. A lot of people spoke against him too, that he should not be speaking to the kids in particular without a DBS check, or he should be a certified psychiatrist. So if at all you are not a psychiatrist, or if you are not a DBS checked, then you should stay away from the kids. And however, that law is not being applied to this individual. Why is he getting a free pass when it comes to the rules and regulations?
It's like he seems to be doing what she, as he identifies to, whichever one, doing what he wants to do. Now all these people that are for him, would they still be for him and saying he's good, he's this, he's that, if it was their children he was talking to?
Exactly.
What would there be on that? What would their thoughts be on that if their 12-year-old, say, daughter said, oh, we're talking to this person?
Exactly. I've got the same feeling. It's like a lot of people who are coming in his support and they're saying, no, he's an inspiration. How would you feel if he is talking to your kids and on some private Patreon? The thing, in a particular video, they're saying that, oh, you should come and visit my private Patreon where we can speak more openly about anything. So I don't know what anything means. And it's showing them how can they go no contact with their parents. And that, for me, that's a very big red flag. You may be any particular individual, but you should not be telling a 12-year-old to go and fend for himself and go no contact with anyone. There are rules and regulations. Since the kid's mind is still developing, it's not a good thing to touch the children.
No, it's not. Because a child should be able to talk openly to their parents. Don't be telling them, have no contact with the parent. If the child's got a problem, the parents first call, not some stranger that they're talking onto a social media platform. You don't know what his agenda is towards that. A 12-year-old or a 13-year-old she'd be able to speak to parents.
Yeah. And we don't know whether this person is a certified psychiatrist or not. Especially for these kind of sensitive topics, you should be a psychiatrist. You should be certified individual. If you want to give advice on these kind of sensitive topics, you should be a certified individual. We never know if he's a certified individual or not. And apart from that, secondly, what about his record? Is here the DBS check? DBS is like police certification where an individual goes through a background check to know that he's a safe person to be around with. Every teacher, everyone who's working in service industry have to go through it. And how he gets a free pass. I think this is becoming more political than a rule or a regulation. Everyone who have to speak to the kids, they need to go through a certain procedure or criteria. And on a serious note, why would you like to speak, or why would you like to defend other people's kids? Their parents are there in their support. And we are living in 2023 where a normal thing, being a transgender, being a homosexual, it's a quite normal thing. So the parents, they know that if they think that their kids are homosexual, or if they think that that particular the child or anyone, then they should be the one who should know about it in the first place. Because if they are not feeling safe around their parents, how do you think they will be safe around other individuals?
It's not. I mean, all these people that are for him and saying he's this, he's that, have they seen DBS checks? Have they checked him out properly for any professional psychiatric reports? I wouldn't be comfortable with my child going online and speaking to some random person. Saying like they give them the wrong advice. You don't know what advice he's giving out to the child. You don't know what the repercussions of it could be. If he's not DBS checked, he's just going on speaking to anybody's child.
Yeah.
What's his attitude for it? What is he after?
Exactly. And now it has become a common normal procedure that if a man wants to identify as a woman, he doesn't have to go through any kind of therapy or anything. If he wants to identify as a woman, he can identify himself as a woman. I'm telling you about this happened in Canada. There's a particular individual. His name is actually Eddie Silverberg. And that guy is strong as a silverback. That guy is 6'1" tall. And he used to compete in professional deadlifting. Okay. So now he identifies himself as a woman, yeah, with the full beard, short hair, and all his muscles. He identifies as a woman. And he broke the world's women weightlifting competition in a bench press. He bench pressed 195 kg. That's like 430 pounds. That's a lot of weight.
That's a lot of weight.
Yeah, and he bench pressed that, and he identifies himself as a woman.
Wow, that's pretty unfair to women who are trying to compete in a sport. To have a man that identifies as a woman, obviously hasn't gone through no therapy or counselling over it.
Even if you're going through therapy, or even if you're going through, yeah, and but this is not. I'm talking about this person, and I will tell you, this is not even the worst case scenario. There is another individual who used to compete in men's swimming team. I'm sorry. So he was from Pennsylvania men's swimming team, and now he identifies as Leah Thompson. Okay, so when he was competing in men's swimming team, he held the record, or I suppose he ranked 6th. Okay, he ranked 6th in America, and now he identifies himself as a woman. So now it's a she, and she won the gold medal in the women's swimming team when she competed. And bear in mind, she was able to defeat world-class swimmers of women. She was an Olympic swimmer, and she was defeated by this individual. And this particular individual is allowed to use women's locker rooms. So when it comes to swimming, they need to change and do everything. So this individual with all his male parts was walking around without any clothes into the women's locker room. And many female swimmers came out and said that they don't feel safe, they don't feel comfortable using the women's locker room anymore.
I don't quite blame them. But a man's strength in swimming or any sport is going to be more than a woman's. But to share a locker room with other females, I wouldn't feel comfortable, and I can't see how they would. I think they should still use, even identifying as a woman, should still use a man's changing rooms.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, that they are not taking that into account. And even they say that that particular individual went through 1 year therapy where he used medication to suppress his testosterone. That's fine. Okay. But even if he lost half of his muscles, he would be still having the same lung capacity, same wingspan, same arms reach, and same bone
So
density.
he's still going to be a stronger swimmer than a
He'll
female.
be way more stronger. And you cannot say that he's gifted, because he says when he was competing in men's swimming board, he was ranked 6th. And what changed so drastically that you became the best women swimmer? Nothing. Basically nothing.
Nothing. It's just a stronger body strength.
Yeah, that's the thing. And now, well, this was about men who was identifying as women or different things. Now you can even identify as trans species. So me as a human being, if I don't think that my body, before that, I'll tell you one more thing. That I'll save the best for the last. So nowadays, you can even transabled. If, for example, if I don't feel that this hand belongs to me, I just can't get rid of it. Or if I think I feel like a blind individual, the woman from UK, she poured cleaning liquid in her eyes because she was feeling that she's a blind individual.
She permanently blinded herself on purpose because she identified as transabled. Jewel Shuping had dreamed of being blind since she was 6 years old. And at the age of 21, she decided to take matters into her own hands. She found a psychologist that agreed to help her blind herself by pouring drain cleaner into her eyes. The two waited for 30 minutes before going to the hospital to ensure permanent damage was done, which has now left her completely blind. After her family found out it wasn't an accident like Jewel had claimed, they cut all ties with her, but Jewel says she's the happiest she's ever been.
Yep, that's what happened. And
Made herself blind.
Yeah, made herself blind because she thinks that she's a blind individual and she doesn't feel comfortable with her eyes. I classify that self-harm. I classify that someone who's trying to and I won't say end their life, but that's not a good thing.
Obviously, she cry for help.
That's the thing. Rather than taking that as a cry of help, these things are being promoted. They are saying that, oh, if he or she thinks that the hand doesn't belong to him, come to the hospital, we will cut the hand for you if you don't want to do it yourself. And now
that's promoting self-harm.
Self-harm, yeah.
Or disfiguring yourself for no particular reason. Do you get counselling for it first, or then just go ahead and do these things?
Oh, do you think that women went through counselling before putting draining liquid in her eyes or cleaning liquid in her eyes? I don't think so. If these things are going to be promoted and if these kind of things are being taught in the school, then where would I see my kids, or where would I see the future generations of this world? For example, means we are advancing in everything. Now, artificial intelligence is taking over the world. So we as human beings, we should keep up. We should get ourselves educated to make sure that we are standing in this world. We are learning each and everything. Rather than that, if we are If we are even thinking, or if we are just trying to identify ourselves in the first place, where you're gonna be ending up. And do you know about the trans species?
No.
There are certain people called as trans species. I'll show you a video for that.
Trans species sounds
Trans
a bit like something that if you're human and you want to be a dog, you can identify as a dog.
That's exactly what it is. We should.
That's what we need. We need more kids on gender reassignment surgery or gender reassignment hormones. And the best way, I think, for me, that it's gotten the message out to the other students is doing it myself, leading by example. And that's what I'm trying to do here as a trans species, as Ronnie the Rat. Is like, listen, there's a social stigma. Me trying to date other furries like this and Alan, there's not a community. There's not a bar that accepts me, Chris. I can't just go to the bar like this. I get made fun of. And that's the same thing that's happened to my 9-year-olds, my 10-year-olds. If they feel more comfortable being a cat, I don't mind putting a litter box in the classroom that lets them defecate in there. That's what I think is important. And should I tell the parents? No, we shouldn't tell the parents. These kids can make decisions at 10 years old. Like, their parents shouldn't be involved. That's what makes me so mad, is I get all these parents that are mad at me because I oftentimes buy these costumes for these kids, and the kids go home in the costume, and the parents come back and they yell at, scream at me, and they say, we don't want you to sexualize our children. They call me the G word, Groomer, which is basically like the N word.
Wow.
And so yeah, with particular individual is talking to about the kids. For the kids grew up watching cartoons and movies. They have seen Tom and Jerry show, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck. What they watch, for them it's a fantasy. Like, I can act like Donald Duck, or I can act like Tom. I can act as Jerry. So if you don't take that thing and you make it a reality, because that is not a reality.
It's like you think he's saying about his 9-year-old and 10-year-old, if they want to do this, he's brainwashing the children through what he believes.
Exactly.
A child should be able to do what they want to do, let alone go and buy another child without parents' consent costume to do that.
It's really.
How is he talking to him in the first place for the child to come up and say, I want to be a cat or I want to be a rat? What's he talking to him like that anyway?
I don't know whether that particular individual is a teacher or not. Because the thing he's saying that he will keep a litter box in the classroom for the kids to use. So I don't know, but I think he's a teacher. So if at all these kind of individuals are teaching, I would preferably 100% will homeschool my kids.
Same as me, I would take my child. My child come home from school and said, my teacher said this or has done that, and there's other children defecating in their litter box. I'd go straight to someone higher, headmaster or teaching association, and my child would be taken out of school.
No,
It's not
I don't blame
my
you.
child wouldn't be taught by someone who's letting children toilet in a litter box.
Exactly.
There's got to be something there.
Yeah. Okay. If they identify as animals, would they be treated as animals? Means, for example, that's a rat, that's a cat, that's a dog, that's something different. If someone identifies as a deer, so would the hunting tags be applicable to that particular individual? I'm curious. I'm just curious.
I mean, you would if you shot him and said,
yeah, he was identifying as a deer.
He was identifying as a deer. I'm a deer poacher, and I shot him.
No, mate.
Be the repercussions on it.
Exactly. I'm not a deer poacher. I'll purchase tags. I'll purchase deer hunting tags, and I'll shoot him. So would that be classified as a murder, or would that be classified as a hunt? That's where the line has to be drawn, right? So, and one more thing. Okay, where is the line? You can now identify as trans, gender, trans species. So why can't I identify as a transnational? Because I think that I was born in the wrong country. So I would come up to the government and I would say that I think I'm a white Scottish man. Give me the Scottish passport. Would they entertain me on that? That's my big question. Can I identify myself as a transnational?
That would be the next thing, wouldn't it?
And I'll be the first one to get enrolled in that. If at all I can identify myself as a transnational,
I was just
I'll
born in the wrong country.
Yeah,
I wasn't actually Scottish.
Yeah.
want a Scottish passport.
Yeah, that's Scottish passport. Oh, you're Mike. I mean, if I don't sound like a Scottish person, that doesn't mean I'm not Scottish. But if you are trying to generalize me that I'm not a Scottish individual, if I'm not speaking like that, that's what I would say. That's transnational phobic.
Yes.
That would be transnational phobic, right?
Transgender phobic. Exactly. Why not?
Transnational phobic.
If you think you're born into the wrong body, you want to be Scottish
Yeah.
instead of, say, Irish or English or American. It's where's it stand on that one?
Whereas when we are drawing that line, there should be some repercussions, right? And okay, these kind of things are vague things. And lastly, I would like to bring up the pronouns things once more. You know that some people identify that pronouns are really important. You should not be using different pronouns. For that, I would want you to watch this video. This is another one. This is the first one.
I don't normally ask for pronouns on the podcast, but in this case, I thought I would respect your desires.
Yes. Thank you for respecting my preferred pronouns, Dinesh. I'm actually gender fluid, and so I wear scrunchies around my wrist so that you can understand which pronoun I'm going by for the day, because I know how you right-wingers don't know how to respect pronouns. So on pink days, I go by she, her. On white days, I go by they, them. Blue days, I go by he, him. And a very special red scrunchie is when I do the neo-pronoun dragon self. And that's usually during my menstrual cycle. It doesn't come out very often. And you actually lucked out today. I'm going by she, her. That could change by the minute, by the day, by the hour.
Can be changed by the minute, by the day, by the hour.
So 1 minute she might want being she or her, walk around the corner, oh, I'm now he or him.
He or him, yeah, exactly. Means if at all pronouns are so important, then how can you just identify that pronouns with a scrunchie around your hand?
Because no one's going to understand that.
Exactly. So if and if, because my simple they would say that I'm a right finger. I don't respect the rules and regulations. Okay, I'll be more than happy to be called the right finger. I don't give any importance to the thing. But here the fact is, if at all your pronouns are so important, then how can they change by the minute, by the day, by the hour? If there is something which is very important to me, I would hold it dearly. I'll hold it and I'll cherish it for life. I can't change it by every minute and every hour. If at all I'm changing it, that's not important for me.
That'd be like saying, oh, I'm a female now. Oh, there's too much of a queue at the female toilet. I'll identify as a he. A he or a him. I'll put the blue scrunchie on. I'll use the male toilets.
So basically...
So how can your thing go from waking up, oh, I'm a her or a she, or whatever she wants to be called, to walking out the door, oh, no, I fancy being the man.
Exactly. Come on, everybody will be confused to what to call you and how to identify you as a particular individual.
So the white band is, I'm neither.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
And the red one is when she's got the dragon, yeah, you should avoid her anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a thing. No, I'll try to avoid her as much as possible. If at all she's coming down the road, I'll just turn around and run for my life.
Yeah, and you don't know whether she's going to be he or she.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't want to get into that kind of problem. I'm like, okay, whatever you identify yourself as, be my guest, or do whatever you want. But don't try to involve me into these kind of things.
But if she's identifying as a him or a he, does that particular one go out dressed as a him or a he, and then decide it wants to be female, or does it go as female and decide what to be?
No, if you are judging anybody by the clothes they are wearing, then you are a bigot. Because the thing is, you cannot limit anybody based on their clothes.
No.
Exactly. So you cannot.
With the scrunchies, it's more of a
clothes, right?
It's a woman thing.
If at all you're wearing and see,
you can say, oh, how's anyone to know what
scrunchie is?
What scrunchies identifying as?
No, I'll get to another thing. It's like, if at all, if I cannot judge anybody by the kind of clothes they're wearing, because if I told identify anybody, if he's wearing a shirt and a pant, I identify that individual as a man. If at all he is wearing a skirt and a top, I identify that individual as a woman. So how come that I cannot classify anybody based on the clothes, but I can classify anybody based on the color of the scrunchie? Because the thing is, that is also a piece of cloth, and it's coloring. Exactly, it's a clothing accessory. And apart from that, it's just the color that's defining your gender or defining your pronouns.
Which I was watched something a little while ago. And they say pink and blue shouldn't be identified as male, female, but now they're bringing out all these gender reveal parties for babies, and it's gone back to being pink and blue.
Pink and blue, exactly.
So straight away, it's identified as
mark
for a girl, blue for a boy.
Exactly. So I think that this is hypocrisy. Means the rules are different for straight people who are born a man who still is a man, or a woman who's born and she still identifies as a woman. And for these individuals who are trans or who identify as different being or anything like that, means the rules are applicable on the regular people, and when it comes to these individuals, they get a free pass.
They can be whatever
they want to be. Exactly.
They don't identify as male or female. They can be male, female. But a hair scrunchie, to me, doesn't cut it.
He, him, she, them, they. And now even you can identify as them, they. Your pronouns are them and they. So
I'd be confused myself as to what to call it.
Exactly. And so, and my question would be like, is that a particular group? Or means, do you identify as an individual, or do you identify as a group? Because them and they are used for groups. And a lot of mainstream fashion industries and companies are supporting and coming up to these things, and they are happy to support these kind of individuals. I don't know why, and I think the main reason for them is because they benefit a lot out of it. Especially if he is identifying as a man and later he wants to become a woman. So first thing, gender change surgery, testosterone suppressants, medications. So that's a customer for life. All the big hospitals will be more than happy to have a lifetime customer. What do you think will happen when they want to have, means a man who's identifying as a woman, and now she is fully capable, means she have all the thoughts of a woman, she have all the emotions of a woman, but she do not have the reproductive organs of a woman. She will not be able to reproduce. So what they would do, again, that will go for surrogacy and different these kind of things. That again cost you millions of dollars. So let alone adoption. Now the medical and the genetics have advanced so much that they can take a cell out of your body, a piece of your bone marrow, and they will use your DNA too and give you an offspring. But that's not a cheap thing. They're going to cost you around 50 to 70,000 pounds for a baby. So, and people, cause the thing is, now they identify as a man or a woman. They have to spend that kind of money if they want to have an offspring. So I think this all gets boiled down to money and politics.
Yeah, it's just another way of them making money.
Yeah, exactly. And another thing is like, since the trans community, they are coming up a lot, and they are saying that if you do not support us, then you are transphobic. If at all, I'm not wearing a t-shirt which says Black Lives Matter. That doesn't mean I support black people. So, but when it comes to trans community, I suppose it became that if you are not wearing the rainbow color, then that means you're a transphobic. Means you are more than welcome to follow your own school of thought. You do whatever you want. You just cannot label me, or you cannot take away my freedom of speech and say that I need to follow a particular pattern. Because if you have freedom of speech, if you have your freedom of life, so do I.
Everyone has their own beliefs. Everyone should be able to follow what they want to follow without having to, as you say, wear the t-shirt.
Exactly.
Shouldn't be forced that you've got to be transphobic or you've got to follow this. Everyone has their own decisions. Everyone can be, I think, what they want to be. If you want to be transgender, if you want to be lesbian, if you want to be gay, it's a thing. Everyone should be able to follow what they want to be without being judged, but it should be pressured onto us having to wear the t-shirt as well.
Exactly. That's what I would like to say about. But it is what it is. We are in a world where the majority usually wins. So, yeah. That was it. I don't have any other questions. Do you have anything to add? No. Okay then.